Yandere Dev is probably one of the more strange and absurd characters on the internet.
Yes, I am a pink-haired anime girl.
Now, for anyone who doesn't know Yandere Dev, I truly envy you. So for my non-weeb listeners out there, a yandere is a trope. It's a character in anime and manga. It's basically a young woman who's obsessed with someone that they love, like a crush, to the point of being murderous and violent. It's a very interesting trope, but I guess people in the anime world like that trope, so much so that a young developer named Alex would dedicate his time into making a game where you play as a yandere. At the time, the Let's Play genre was in its prime, right? So everyone was playing whatever they could get their hands on. And even though the game wasn't complete, it was unique enough to get the attention of these creators, so much so that he would open up a Patreon in 2014, 2015. For the first few years, people gave Yandere Dev, the benefit of the doubt with his game. Progress was slow, but it was steady. However, he started just adding features and upgrading models instead of working on like a base game. So the game wasn't even in a demo state, it was in a early test stage. And people were really upset that he wasn't focusing on a solid demo before expanding his game and adding features. It was really dumb, and at this point it wasn't a passion project anymore. It was a career. It was his job because there was a Patreon and people were paying him to create a game. Throughout the years, he would have countless interactions with fans that were, let's just say, not the best. I think arrogant was the word that people most described Yandere Dev back in the day. Very self-loathing, very I play the victim. Being an asshole online, that's not illegal. However, there were some allegations floating around in early 2016 that may have bordered on illegal. Now, these allegations that I'm alluding to in 2016 never really had solid evidence for them, but there was this interaction that I found that happened in 2016. So Yandere Dev decided to have a debate on the age of consent laws. Yeah, this really happened. And side note, definitely something that a struggling game developer should be talking about in his free time, right? Arguing with fans and debating consent laws. I want to make it clear that in the 2016 weird conversation about consent, he was not arguing that we should lower the age of consent. What Yandere Dev was trying to say was that the age of consent being 18 was an arbitrary number and that people come to age at different, times in their life. And in the same way that we have driver's licenses, that maybe we should enact some sort of I kid you not, sex license, which is so strange, very strange to say the least. When I read Yandere Dev's explanation of these conversations on his Tumblr that I found, I have to be honest, it didn't inspire faith in Yandere Dev's ability to be around young fans. It looks even worse in the light of recent events. But before I get into recent events, I have to say that he's had young teenagers working on his video game for a long time. He would have volunteers work for him. I actually found this interaction that he had with a young teenage girl volunteer where he gave her loads of work, almost like a full-time job worth of work, and all she wanted at the time was credit. However, he decided not to give her credit on the work she did for Yandere Simulator, the game he was developing, because of nepotism, in his words. I guess he thought it'd be nepotistic because they were friends, apparently. So this girl would document her time working with Yandere Dev. Yandere Dev would decide to give her credit eventually after this back and forth they had over emails, and there were some very childish emails sent to this girl from Yandere Dev. Unfortunately, this wouldn't be the last time that Yandere Dev would contact a teenage girl. So let's fast forward to January 1st, 2024. Literally the first day of the new year, Yandere Dev drops this apology video. A little bit of context about this apology video. There's a lot going on here. 3 months ago, you probably saw a bunch of videos about Yandere Dev being a groomer or whatever and all these leaked chat logs. I'm just gonna spoil it here. Yandere Dev doesn't seem to deny the chat logs, so it's more than likely that those are completely real. Now, I wanna start with the apology video, kind of go over a little bit of it, and then I'll break it up with different pieces of information as we go along.
Hello, I'm Yandere Dev, the developer of Yandere Simulator. Last year, an extremely serious allegation was made about me that I would like to address. The accusation is that I attempted to groom an underage fan of my game. I will take accountability and admit that I did discuss inappropriate topics with a fan. However, the accusation that I deliberately attempted to groom this fan is false. Last year, a fan of my game contacted me and wanted to chat. Usually, when a fan tries to talk with me, I just tell them that I'm too busy. But this person seemed really nice and friendly and funny, so I decided, you know what, sure, let's talk. She let me know right off the bat that she was 16, but I didn't see any problem with that. When I was 16, I had online friends that were in their 20s and 30s, so it just didn't feel weird to me.
I want to know the extent of the friendships he had, because how is it not weird? Now, I would totally understand if she was like an artist and he was paying for her work or something like that. However, they were talking in private DMs about some really weird stuff. We'll get to that in a minute. Like, if you're 35 and you don't understand you're crossing a line by being this friendly with a 16-year-old in DMs, not YouTube comments, not Twitter, we're talking about private DMs, Yandere Dev is missing something in his brain.
In the beginning, our conversations were normal, but she had a kind of adult sense of humor, and every now and then she would bring up a topic or ask a question that wasn't really appropriate. When this would happen, I wasn't entirely comfortable with it, but I rationalized to myself that it was no big deal and just kept talking with her.
Like, why not just cut it off? If you're uncomfortable, if she's making things uncomfortable, but if it gets to that point, you cut it off. Just cut it off completely. I don't understand.
Eventually, I must have said something that sounded like a red flag to her, because at some point she started to record our conversations just in case I turned out to be some kind of predator. She showed our conversations to a YouTuber, and the YouTuber decided, yep, this guy seems like a groomer. We need to expose him. From what I've been hearing, it kind of sounds like the YouTuber started coaching the girl on how to manipulate me into saying things that would make me look bad, which wasn't what the girl wanted. But you don't have to just take my word for it. The girl has written a statement about the entire situation, giving her side of the story.
Now, it's important, I think, that we look at Yandere Dev's victim's statement on Twitter, and we're just going to read over this first part. This is my statement on everything that has happened with Alex, aka Yandere Dev. I was a fan of Yandere Simulator for a good chunk of my childhood. I loved I Have Cupcakes, Markiplier, Gloom, the whole crew. Because of how much I loved the game, I wanted to reach out to the creator via email. I sent him some emails when I was 9, super basic fan emails that he responded to very normally. I reached out to Alex right before my sophomore year of high school ended. I decided that it could be fun to talk to him again. He responded to my Discord DM in a very casual, normal way. We started talking more often until I made things spicy. Now, this is where it gets weird in the statement. Until I made things spicy. In this document, she's trying to downplay what has happened between her and Yandere Dev. She does not think what happened was grooming, and we'll get to that. But in this entire document, she's not really trying to excuse Yandere Dev, but it's definitely a lot of downplaying. The same downplaying you'll see in Yandere Dev's apology video. I don't blame this 16-year-old girl for feeling like this and having these like complicated feelings, right? Obviously, this is a creator that she loved, someone that she really admired, and she's 16. She doesn't understand, right? And when it comes to Twitter, of course, she's getting a lot of flack, but there are a lot of people pointing things out that I think are important, like this person right here. So this person says, until I made things spicy, in quotes. At that point, it was Dev's responsibility to stop talking to this child fan or to set clear boundaries with her that this isn't okay. He didn't. He is a groomer. As an adult, it was his responsibility to keep the conversation appropriate. Totally agree. So does Yandere Dev. Victim, I agree. Then why do you refer to it as a close relationship / friendship? We don't consider the bond between groomers and victims to be anything of that sort. Now, this guy, I get what he's trying to say, but you're talking to the victim. You're talking to someone who was very much enamored by her, like, you know, this person that she really respected and enjoyed. And she's also 16, my dude. Like, why are you talking to her? Why even bring this up? Like, your first statement is fine, but like, obviously she says, not grooming. And we were close friends. Most of the time, it was fully platonic. Late night sleepy talk was just different. Now that is just, oh my God, the idea of a 35-year-old having late night sleepy talk with a 16-year-old. I get the outrage, but she is getting a lot of flack on Twitter, and I think it's not deserved.
She showed our conversations to a YouTuber, and the YouTuber decided, yep, this guy seems like a groomer. We need to expose him. From what I've been hearing, it kind of sounds like the YouTuber started coaching the girl on how to manipulate me into saying things that would make me look bad, which wasn't what the girl wanted. You don't have to just take my word for it. The girl has written a statement about the entire situation, giving her side of the story.
So I'll give you the gist of it here. Here's the timeline from what I understand. At some point, this 16-year-old girl talks to Yandere Dev back when she was 9 years old. She sends an email. Yandere Dev sees the email. They have a very frank conversation. Just the girl saying, I love your game. Yandere Dev saying, that's great, goodbye, right? Where it should have ended. Some time passes. She turns 16, reaches back out to Yandere Dev. They basically spark a friendship and start talking talking over voice chat, emails, and stuff like that. At some point, the 16-year-old girl feels like this relationship is getting too weird, then reaches out to Ali MCC, the YouTuber, and tells the YouTuber what's been going on between her and Yandere Dev. Now, Ali MCC is a YouTuber who's made multiple videos on Yandere Dev. She does not like Yandere Dev, and maybe that's why this 16-year-old girl went to her, maybe like thinking she wouldn't be judged or something. I'm not too sure. The YouTuber decides, hey, let me partner with this 16-year-old girl and get more evidence so that we can basically make a documentary hit piece and show everyone what Yandere Dev is doing, right? The 16-year-old girl agrees. They make the video. Before the video drops, 16-year-old girl's friend drops a bunch of voice chats from the video. It goes viral, and then that's when Ali drops her video 3 months ago with the voice chats and the chat logs from the Snapchat that we've seen before. And then here we are today. And I really do think it's important to read this part that he has on screen. Ali, the YouTuber, coached me into being exactly what he wanted, he being Yandere Dev, based on years of online stalking. I went over Ali's channel. I wouldn't really call it stalking. It's just like, I don't know, keeping up with Yandere Dev's many antics online, along with a community dedicated to bringing him down. She, the YouTuber, used the same techniques that the FBI used during sting operations. Curate a specific environment, build trust, lure in, take down. Ali disrespected my wishes when I didn't want the video posted because it was an elaborate scheme to bring views back to her dying channel. Every person has their faults, but dedicating multiple videos to someone's faults shows her true colors. She, the YouTuber, is manipulative, hateful, and absolutely not a trustworthy source of news. Taking the worst elements of someone's conversation, removing context, and putting things together that sound extremely sexual towards a 16-year-old, Ali tricked people into believing that he was a bad person. This idea that she says up here, she, the YouTuber, used the same techniques that the FBI uses during sting operations. So basically what she was saying is that she was involved with like an amateur sting operation. If that's true, Ali's video is actually against TOS, which I don't know if it was this like elaborate sting operation like the girl's claiming. It may have just been, hey, can you talk to this guy a little bit more, record it so that we have proof. So I'm not just saying, you know, I'm not just pulling something out of my ass so it doesn't look like I'm just attacking this guy that I already have beef with. I really hope that with the information that they gathered, that they sent it to the proper authorities first before any kind of YouTube videos. I really think it's important to like bring this stuff to authority figures first. I mean, look, we can shame the guy later, right? Like a bunch of commentary channels like me can come, you know, point and laugh at the weird guy who was talking to 16-year-olds, right? But first we need to set aside all this information and send it to the proper authorities. Now, I haven't heard anything about that. I really hope she did that first before, you know, planning out this big documentary YouTube video or whatever. Like, fuck the YouTube videos, fuck the documentary style, whatever. This is so terrible. And no matter what this 16-year-old girl says, like context wise, it's already just bad. Like, we'll get into it. Let's do that right now. I'm gonna play some clips from the actual audio recordings, and after that we'll go into some more of Yandere Dev's apology.
You're so cute. It's because you keep being cute. If you don't want to be called cute, then stop being so cute. It's simple logic. And I thought it was just normal.
That's not normal size.
Oh.
No, I think average size one of those in the US is like 5.5.
Wow. Okay.
I don't know how to respond like that. I don't know what to say about it. I don't have one, so I'm not like a penis expert. You go to like bars and stuff?
No, I don't go out. I just stay inside and work on the game.
You should turn your camera.
Oh, you'll see how old I am.
Okay, look at you.
You're cute.
Yeah, exactly. You should. I will look at you too.
I don't feel good about it.
Okay.
Oh, you're sweet.
I have a question for you.
What's the question?
I want you to like call off guard or anything.
Go ahead.
You fuck the other girl's name.
No.
Okay.
Wouldn't it make me a bad guy if I did?
It would make me an upset person if you did.
You'd be upset?
And then it's just like not like in a serious way, just like, you know. Oh.
Am I a bad guy for talking to you? Should I stop talking to you?
No, you should stop talking. Well, I mean, like, you should, but please don't. Just, like, you know, pause. I like your company.
Oh, you're so sweet.
Do you think you can call like this more often?
Maybe. I had fun. You're funny. It's fun to listen to talk.
What's so disturbing about this call, in my opinion, is that it's almost like straight up ripped from an episode of To Catch a Predator with Chris Hansen. Like, I'm surprised Chris Hansen didn't pop out of the computer screen and like slap Yandere Dev over the head. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, if you have watched as much To Catch a Predator as I have, you would know that he sounds exactly like one of those predators, dude. It's so disturbing.
And the YouTuber then used those recordings to make a 40-minute long video accusing me of being a groomer. Out of respect for all of the people in the world who have actually been groomed, we should use the word grooming correctly.
Okay, dickhead, get off of your high horse. Okay, this pisses me off, actually. Out of respect for people who were groomed, let's use this word appropriately. Like, what am I supposed to do? Even if I don't think this is grooming, right? Like, even if this wasn't grooming, and I'll say this, it doesn't have to be grooming to be bad. Like with the Colleen Ballinger situation, you know who I'm talking about, the YouTuber lady with the ukulele, like her apology video had the ukulele, dude. Yeah, that lady was crazy, bro. In her case, what she did was arguably not grooming, right? Like, I don't know if the correct definition of what she did was grooming. It doesn't have to be grooming to be bad. This is adultification of minors. You're treating these minors as if they're like 20, 30-year-old people. They're not. They don't have the capacity to have these types of relationships. Like, even if it's not technically grooming, what am I supposed to do? Like, am I supposed to defend this guy? No. Like, I don't want to defend him. I don't want to say, like, actually, it's not pedophilia if you're into, like, a 13-year-old. It's habubabomophilia. You have to use the word correctly. It's like, bro, fuck off. You're not the guy to be saying this right now.
Grooming is when an adult tries to establish a relationship with a child with the intention of exploiting or abusing the child. That doesn't describe what I did. I didn't develop a friendship with the girl for that reason. That wasn't my intention.
So I'm going to do a really probably spicy hot take here. I actually believe Yandere Dev when he says this, when he said his intentions weren't to start a sexual relationship with this girl. I actually believe that, okay? I have nothing to base it on. I just do. I believe him when he says that. However, it crossed a line. So it doesn't matter what your intentions are. Like, what's that saying? Hell's paved with good intentions. You've crossed that line. So intentions don't matter. You know what I mean? Like, that's just my opinion, right?
After having my behavior explained to me as commonly associated with romance, I can understand how it was interpreted that way. I feel like it's worth mentioning that a lot of the remarks I made only sound bad when they're out of context. For example, there was one time when the girl jokingly said, "You should make an OnlyFans." And I said, "No, that's dumb. No one would ever want to see that." And she said something like, "Come on, it's so easy to make money on OnlyFans." And when I heard that, I thought, whoa, that's a little concerning. Don't tell me that social media is brainwashing this generation to think that they should just go directly into porn the second they turn 18 because it's the best way to get rich quick. That's a little concerning. I wanted to know if she was joking or if she was being serious. So I asked her, "Are you planning to start an OnlyFans?"
Why can't you start OnlyFans?
Okay, let's just hypothetically imagine I have an OnlyFans. Now, what do I post on the OnlyFans? You mean like just naked pictures of me? I don't think I'm good looking enough for anyone to want to subscribe to my OnlyFans.
Like,
When you turn 18, are you going to start an OnlyFans?
God, no.
Well, how can you recommend that someone else do it if you wouldn't even be able to do it yourself?
So yeah, there you go. We've got the conversation about the OnlyFans and the size of his Johnstons, which what are you doing? Like, even if the OnlyFans conversation like was exactly the way he described it, which it was not, right? He downplayed it by a lot. It's pretty surprising that he didn't want to address the Johnstons talk, you know, the sausage talk that he had with this 16-year-old girl, you know, the size of his sword. Why aren't you addressing that? And there's actually a part in the 16-year-old girl's statement on Twitter that directly talks about why they switched over to Snapchat. And I'm just going to read that because if this wasn't damning enough, let's see what was the reason they switched to Snapchat. All right, so I'm pulling this from the statement, and if you want to read the full statement, 2-page statement, I'll have it in the description. please, I encourage you not to message this girl or talk to this girl about this at all. It's just already a terrible, messy situation. I just wouldn't interact with her directly, right? Now, we read over this part before, but I'm just gonna start right here because it's relevant. I decided that it could be fun to talk to him again. He responded to my Discord DM in a very casual, normal way. We started talking more often until I made things spicy. At that point, we decided it would be best to move things to Snapchat since he was concerned about being screenshotted. Oh, the irony. I was afraid of losing my new friend. He asked me for my Snap and I gave it to him. We had some casual conversations until the first weird interaction, which is when I decided that I should start recording. I saw a little bit about his previous allegations/drama from a YouTuber named AliMCC and wanted to make sure that I had proof if he really did turn out to be a pedo. He said some more very interesting things on Snapchat and over VC through our conversations that I asked Ali to clip for my server soundboard since they were really funny in his monotone voice. Alex, Yandere Dev, started to get a little bit more personal with me, which is when Ali decided to interview me and talk about what grooming is in a VC. We decided that it was pretty icky and that he needed to chill. So the video, talking about the video that Ali and her made together, had a set upload date and everything. Then my friend's TikTok about the situation went viral. He stretched the truth a little bit, claiming Alex groomed me at 9 years old. So we talked about this before. 9 years old was the first time she interacted with Yandere Dev. There was nothing weird that happened. All the weird stuff happened when she was 16. He stretched the truth a little bit, claiming Alex groomed me at 9 years old to make it more clickbait. Then released a small audio clip of Alex being weird and badly explaining how puberty works. Now, I'm just gonna end it right here. That's all the context we know. If Yandere Dev was talking to a 16-year-old niece about puberty, that would already be weird enough, but I could see it, right? That's a family member. Or a sister, right? Like if this was his sister, I would understand. This is a 35-year-old, for the most part, random adult talking to a 16-year-old girl about puberty. They don't know each other. These are absolute strangers. And all of this is inappropriate. Grooming, I don't know, but inappropriate 1000%.
There's a part of me that wants to go point by point down the list of every single questionable or suspicious thing I said and provide context for absolutely everything, but that's not really the main issue here. For one thing, a lot of the stuff I said is just weird no matter what the context is. I'll just admit it. I never should have let conversations like that happen in the first place. A normal, mentally healthy adult would have just blocked the girl immediately after the very first time she said something inappropriate. But I didn't. And having to face that fact was a wake-up call that made me realize I had deteriorated mentally. Over the past 10 years, I neglected absolutely every aspect of my well-being in favor of working on my video game project. I almost never left my house for any reason. I had no social life whatsoever, and I had no one that I could call a true friend. A lot of people warned me that they could see my mental health deteriorating and that I was exhibiting a lot of self-destructive behavior, and I just ignored all of them. I was lonely and depressed and miserable and getting worse every year and doing nothing to make any of it better and ignoring all of the warning signs that were being given to me. When you neglect your psychological and social needs that badly for that long, you eventually become so desperate for social interaction and positive affirmation that you become willing to have inappropriate interactions you shouldn't be having, as long as it's fulfilling the social needs that have gone completely unmet for years.
No, man, you don't. You became a degenerate. Like, honestly, you neglected yourself for that many years on this stupid game that's like never coming out. That's on you, brother. Like, you don't talk to a 16-year-old girl to get that social validation. You're 30. You go to the gym. You work out. You eat better. Go to a bar. Make friends, bro. This is not the way to do it. Like, you're making it sound like, man, I was depressed. I was lonely. I just had to talk to this 16-year-old girl about the size of my penis. Like, dude, shut up, bro. This feels condescending. Like, I get that he's actually trying to take some responsibility. He's still not calling it grooming. Whether it's grooming or not, I don't care. It's still bad. But this chatter is just so condescending, bro. There's so many people who are depressed and lonely, and they don't rizz up 16-year-old girls, bro. It just doesn't happen.